So if you come across an ad on Craigslist with someone offering to pay you cash just to apply for a cannabis license, it's probably a scam. But hey, it's 2023 and we're not that far off from having a convicted felon running for president from a jail cell against an old man who can barely speak and or walk on his own anymore. Anything's possible in America.
Yeah.
So I've been working for, with, and adjacent to cannabis social equity applicants and operators since I was first introduced to the concept by Virgil Grant here in Los Angeles back in 2017. Over the years, as social equity has evolved, I've seen scammers and predatory lenders of all sizes and types target eligible applicants in efforts to cheat them out of their fair share of the green gold. But I've never seen anything quite like this. The Missouri Independent did a deep dive yesterday on a Michigan company putting out online ads offering to pay eligible social equity applicants to enter state lotteries. But in fine print in the contracts, it was revealed that said applicants are also forced to relinquish all control and profits if they actually win the licenses. Missouri cannabis microbusiness licenses are designed to boost opportunities for businesses in disadvantaged communities, and it was part of the constitutional amendment to legalize recreational cannabis that voters passed last year. The folks like 56-year-old Rockford, Illinois resident James Harnden um, found a way to join the neighboring state's program on Craigslist. Per the article, Harnden's been a longtime activist for cannabis legalization ever since he got slapped with a low level felony possession charge for having just an ounce of weed on him. He says that the charge cost him countless job opportunities for 30 years, but earlier this year he saw an advertisement in the Craigslist gigs section posted by a Michigan cannabis real estate group called Cannazoned MLS. They were looking for partners who qualify as a social equity applicant to participate in Illinois' lottery to award cannabis business licenses that are, in part, meant to benefit people impacted by marijuana criminalization. The Craigslist ad read like this: if you are eligible and provide the required documentation, we will give you $2,000 just for helping us submit the lottery application. If we win the lottery and secure a license, we will give you an additional $20,000. Sounds like a great deal. Harnden says what he didn't realize was that he signed a contract agreeing to hold 100% ownership interest on the application, but that he would not get revenue or profits from the business. After the business passed through all the state and municipal approvals, the contract stated that Harnden would be required to sell his share of the business for $1 to the group or be held in breach of contract. The contract also authorized the group to enter Harnden's information into lotteries for social equity cannabis licenses in other states. And that's how Harnden says he got paid $500 to be part of the lottery for Missouri's micro business license program. Harnden was eligible to apply in Missouri because of his past cannabis charge, which is among 7 eligibility categories that also includes living in census tracts with high poverty and unemployment rates. Canazone's Jeffrey Yatuma is listed as the quote unquote authorized agent on the contract Harnden provided to the independent, leaving a space for his signature at the bottom. Yatuma secured 2 of the 16 social equity cannabis licenses in Columbia and Arnold, issued earlier this month, according to information obtained by the independent through a public records request. Those records show Yatuma is listed as the designated contact for 104 of the 1,048 applications for dispensary licenses in Missouri's lottery. For the article, Yatuma's group was not the only one using the strategy of flooding Missouri's lottery with applications to obtain a dispensary license. The Arizona based consulting firm is connected to more than 400 dispensary applicants, including 6 winners, and a Missouri firm is connected to more than 80 applicants and 2 winners. Both said that their clients did not advertise or promise payment for submitting applications. In at least 3 states holding lotteries for social equity cannabis licenses this year, Illinois, Maryland, and Missouri, Yatuma's group has offered to pay eligible people up to $2,000 to apply on their behalf and $20,000 more if they win. With the Craigslist ads posted in Missouri, you can't see them anymore online, but a screenshot of a similar ad posted by Canazone in Illinois was included in a story by the Chicago Sun-Times. Ads are currently up in Maryland, where the state's social equity cannabis application uh, um, service opens up on November 13th. And provided with a copy of Harnden's agreement, Yatuma claims that his company never signed any agreement along the lines of the one that you mentioned. He said that the agreement was part of early business discussions, and his group made a similar argument earlier this year when efforts to secure licenses in Illinois faced criticism. The parties never moved forward with the referenced document, and the states subsequently provided guidance advising on how to structure the partnerships, Yatuma said in the email to the Independent. In our experience with new laws, it's frequently important to begin business discussions and then be prepared to pivot. This guy's good.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like he has Trump's lawyers. And finalize a partnership when new state guidance is announced. Yatuma said that he's aware of the micro business dispensary licenses must continue to be majority owned by an individual who meets at least one of the eligibility qualifications outlined in the Constitution. The article is pretty lengthy and chronicles several applicants' stories of how they got bamboozled into these schemes, and it's worth checking out at high9news.com when y'all get a chance. As California prepared to legalize adult use cannabis, the idea of social equity licensure began to catch fire. The world's fifth largest economy was soon to become the world's biggest opportunity for business owners, large and small, to get involved in the green rush. The fact weed was soon to be legal, and those who'd given up their freedom for the same businesses that the privileged suburban white men destined to dominate this industry were about to price them out of participating in, didn't sit well with pretty much anybody except for those Chads. But since nobody from state to state, municipality to municipality can even agree to what true social equity is or who deserves to qualify, we're going to see more and more scams like this pop up, and they're going to evolve. And we'll see what happens next. Follow the money. My name is Rigo Lamit for the dopest dad on the street for High at Nine News. I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you think about this, man?
Oh man, I can't wait to hear what Dale has to say about this. Oh boy, but I will say, you know what this reminds me of?
So
This
feelings.
reminds me of like social equity applicants like just covering the field at a roulette table, and no matter what number wins, they're winning.
Play the field.
Yes, that's what this
Always play
reminds
the
me
field.
of.
It's the
One
worst.
big
That's
roulette
the worst
table.
bet. That's the worst bet on the craps table.
No, 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 no,
Go
no,
ahead.
no,
Go
no, no,
ahead.
no, no. But they're covering the field on the roulette table, and the roulette table they have very high odds if you hit your point,
Yeah. This is yeah.
and
It's
that's
predatory, but hey, look.
Predatory. It's the American way,
is it
right?
predatory?
I'm
Yeah,
waiting for
it's a predatory
Jason to
nation.
pop this out. Look, this is there are so many conflicts here because if you look to say the Oakland Social Equity Program, sorry, it's actually called the Race and Equity Program in Oakland. Um, that particular program disallowed participants, and there were several like this that disallowed participants from selling their permit to anyone other than another social equity applicant. And so a couple years ago, when shit was popping and these licenses were worth something, they could not turn what they had done into generational wealth. They couldn't sell it. They were stuck with it no matter what, even if being able to sell it is what got them over the line. They couldn't bring people in properly for investors to be interested. And so,
Mhm.
not allowing social equity individuals to monetize their investment is also like it's is part of the problem, right? But then you find individuals that are willing to, like, every time there's a new rule or law put in place, there's a new workaround or loophole to thread the needle
Always.
through. And so it's this, who's losing are honestly the workforce, number one, because we're super focused with equity programs on entrepreneurship instead of jobs with dignity, which is where most people want to be, is just give me a good job, one job with dignity, not having to work for in order to earn a living. And so it's the focus of where these dollars are going is part of the problem, but we can't pretend that this is a good thing for a social equity applicant to sell out their opportunity for 20K, because these folks know that it's worth way more than that.
Way more millions.
Mm-hmm. Very, very, very
But
true.
this is, I mean, this is why. I mean, me and Jason call it socialist
Socialist
equity.
equity. Yep, exactly
It's,
why.
it's never going. It's never going to happen in America.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that the messaging from the jump was flawed when you're promising people generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. A lot of people were sucked into opportunities that just did not come into fruition. And we see that, New York has gone through every phase of the bamboozlement that California has seen over the last 7 years in their first 10 months of operation. Right?
Hmm.
People are getting screwed over with this. And um, if you want to say that this is the opportunity that they say that they are given, like you're just lying. You're lying to yourself, and you're lying to anybody that you spread that bullshit to,
Hmm.
as well. If you want to call this like reparations light or whatever, what a lot of people were trying to frame it as in the beginning, like just stop. It's not reparations. If you don't know how to run a business, like chances are you're not going to succeed in
Hmm.
this industry. If you do know how to run a business, chances are you're not going to succeed in this
Very true.
industry. So
Very, very true.
we
It
need
was also
reparations.
about,
Reparations is reparations. Social equity is not reparations.
Hmm.
it was also though about not two things, not locking people out that had been justice involved. Like that was one of the key tenets of the original, like I was there fighting to make sure that we weren't disallowing people that had been arrested, been in prison for weed to now not be allowed to own or run a business if that is what they chose. And at the end of the day, not take all the tax dollars and just put it back into rearresting people. Those were the two big goals, is let's not just keep doubling down in the neighborhoods and communities with more and more law enforcement by just dumping it into the general fund. Let's reinvest in the communities that were most impacted. And what reinvest in the communities turned into are these entrepreneurship programs only. And I'm just going to go back to underlying workforce, just good jobs with dignity. And there are a lot of social programs like early childhood development that are going to have a lot more bang for your buck at the end of the day for improving these communities and their outcomes. Clean water in fucking Missouri is a great start. Just
Hmm.
saying.
Right. Right.
Clean water. And on that, I think
There's
we're gonna.
many ways we can reinvest. I just don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater because there are
Yeah.
good outcomes. The king of weed on Hate Street is the legal king of weed on Hate Street. He's been selling weed for over 20 years, John Richard. Now he's legal. Now he's getting paid and getting pieces of companies because of his knowledge. That's a success story. That is a social equity program success story. Let's not cut out the opportunity because of the
Yeah.
failures. Let's address the failures and find the successes and uplift them and just rinse, wash, repeat. There's
You know
I'm
how
in the
I
book
word
of a
that,
lot of
Dale. You know how I always
what
word that.
works.
I,
What
I
works.
I always word that as don't make the bad the enemy of the good.
I just want to, yeah. If you're in this and you have been in this, you poured everything into it. Like I'm not telling anybody to quit. I'm not telling anybody to get out of the game. There's a lot of people who have stuck through it and have been successful. Like it's awesome, but we do have to recognize that they are exceptions to the rule, right?
Hmm.
It's not an easy,
All
repeatable process.
entrepreneurship is exceptions to the rule though, Rico. Like that's my point is let's not only invest in the very few that, 5% make it. So go look at restaurants. 95% of restaurants fail in the first 2 years. Full stop. Just
Hmm.
bye.
Right.
Reason the
Period.
cannabis industry would be any different.
There's no socialist equity though in restaurant industry.
Well, and maybe we should talk about reinvesting in communities for industries like tech
I'm all
or
about that.
oil.
I'm all about that.
And-
I'm all
Yep.
about that.
Yep.
And I could go on for days on that and some of the programs that were in
But that's
place
called taxes,
previously.
Jason. I'm sorry. We're about to get into a fist fight, aren't we?
No, we're not. Never, never, never. I would not do
Socialism.
that.
But
Yeah.
take
Socialism, Jason.
take profits from giant corporations and reinvest in the communities? What a concept. I'm sorry.
Redistribution of wealth, Jason.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so lopsided
Sounds
right
like
now.
Yeah, just pure
overtaxation with no
socialism.
representation.